everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my new Google Sheets 12-month social media content planner. This is a template that's going to help you organize your content plan for an entire year. You can start planning on any month that you want, and then once the 12 months are over, all you have to do is create a new copy of the template and start fresh. So let's get into it. The template includes 18 tabs and it all starts in the initial setup tab. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide the month in which you want your template to begin. And you're going to do that by selecting a month from the dropdown and then setting a year. The template will work with any start month, any year, and once you set your start month, the other 11 months will adapt accordingly. So with the template, you get 12 monthly content planner tabs. You can find them down here. You need to scroll to the right to see them all. And the first tab will belong to the month that you set as your start month. So these 12 tabs are the main feature of the template. This is where you're going to create your content plan for the month. And I'm going to jump into a version that's already filled out so you can see an example of what it could end up looking like. So for every piece of content, you're going to start by adding an idea, then you're going to set the platform in which you're going to be posting this, the format, the content pillar that it belongs to. You can set a goal if your goal is to get more DMs, to get more website visits, more email signups, and then you can track the status of this particular piece of content. And these 5 columns are fully customizable. You can change both the headers and the elements that are going to be found inside the dropdowns, and you're going to do that from the initial setup tab. So if you scroll to the right, you're going to find this section right here where you can update the titles for each of those columns, and then you can change the elements that are found inside. So I added all of this as an example, but you can always jump into this section and replace this information with your own, and that's going to automatically update all of your 12 monthly content planner tabs. I'm just going to jump back into the first one. So once you've added this basic information, you can double click on the date cell and pick the date in which you're going to be posting that. You can set a time, and then if you scroll to the right, you're going to find space to add a caption, a call to action, hashtags. You can insert an image. There's room for notes, and then if you need to save a specific link for this post, you can do that in this cell. And if you scroll to the right, you're going to find this section. This is copy paste. You don't need to do anything here. What's going to happen in these cells is your caption, call to action, and hashtags are all going to be joined together in a single text that you can copy and paste anywhere outside the spreadsheet. And then if you keep scrolling, you're going to find a checklist. So what you have here is 10 steps that are going to help you track your content creation workflow. I added these steps as an example, but you can always jump into the initial setup tab and change them to create your own workflow. So all of these 10 steps, these are examples. You can create your own steps. They will be updated on every single one of your content planner tabs. And then for every piece of content, you can use the checkboxes to keep track of the tasks that are already done. So you can add as much or as little information as you want for every piece of content. And then if you scroll to the right to the very end of this tab, you're going to find the specific post view. So initially it's going to be empty. And once you pick a post number, these are the post numbers, you'll see all the key information related to that post in this one pretty view. So everything that you added in this table, all the way from the idea to the notes and then the checklist, that's going to be displayed in this view. So you can select any post that you want, and if you want to jump into that post, you can use this link right here. So once you've created your content plan for the month in this table, you can visualize it in a calendar view. So you're going to jump into the calendar view tab and you're going to select the month that you want to see. So I'm going to do June, for example. And once I select the month, all the content that I added into that monthly content planner tab is going to be automatically displayed in this calendar. So you can see the whole thing, or you can choose to narrow down the number of posts that you're seeing using these filters right here. So if you only wanted to see the posts for Instagram, for example, you can select that and then Instagram Reel. So as you can see, the more filters I select, the less posts I'm seeing in the calendar. So you can pick one filter from each of your 5 custom columns. And as you can see in this mini calendar, the days that have content assigned to them will be displayed in a bold black number, and the days that don't have anything assigned will be be grayed out. And for each piece of content, what you're going to be seeing by default is the time, the post number, your 5 selections for your 5 custom dropdowns, and then the idea text. So the time, the post number, and the idea text are always going to show up, but you can choose to hide or show your 5 custom dropdowns. So if I uncheck these boxes right here, this is how you control your display settings. You're going to see that I got rid of all of that information, and now I'm only seeing the time, the post number, and the idea. So you can play around with these display settings and dynamically change the information that you're seeing in the calendar. You can always bring everything back using the checkboxes, and you can delete the filters and you'll see the whole thing again. And if you want to see the details for a particular post, all you have to do is take note of the post number and then scroll all the way to the end and select that post from the dropdown, and all the details will be loaded automatically into this view. So it's the exact same thing that you get on each monthly content planner tab. And then if you want to jump into that particular post, you can use this link right here and it'll bring you to the corresponding row in the monthly content planner tab, so you can make changes if you need to. And if you take a look up here, there's a link that's going to help you jump back into the calendar view very easily. And then if you want to go back and edit your content plan, you can use this link right here. So you can jump back and forth between these two sections, make changes, and then jump into the calendar view and see how those would look like. So your 12 monthly content planner tabs and your calendar view, those are the main features of the template, and each monthly content planner tab can have as many rows as you need. I initially added 150, but you can insert as many rows as you need as long as you do it below the first row and above the last row. So you need to insert new rows anywhere in the middle of the table, and then you can add as many rows as you need. And then once you're done with a piece of content, you can use these checkboxes right here and the entire row will be grayed out. And you can also use these highlight filters up here to highlight specific rows based on these conditions. So if I select Instagram Reel, as you can see, only the rows that have Instagram Reel assigned to them will be highlighted. So you can select one option from each of your custom dropdowns. You can also choose to highlight a specific date, for example, so those are optional. And then if you scroll to the right, you're going to find this section right here that belongs to the hashtag manager. So the hashtag manager is a bonus feature that I added. You don't have to use it, but over time it might be useful. And you'll find your hashtag manager in your tabs down here. So I'm just going to jump into the hashtag manager, and what you're going to do here is you're going to create groups of hashtags that you use frequently so that afterwards you can easily copy and paste them into your content plan. So this is what it's going to look like when it's blank. And to create a new group, all you have to do is add a group name and then the tags that are going to be included in that group. So there's room for 100 groups and then 30 tags per group. So once you fill this section out, it's going to look like this. And what's cool about this feature is that if I jump back into one of my monthly content planners, into this section right here, you're going to be able to select a group of hashtags, and then all the tags that belong to that group are going to be loaded automatically in this cell. And you can use this cell to copy and then paste into your content. And once it's there, you can make manual changes if you need to, maybe delete certain tags, add new tags. So every time that you create a new group in the hashtag manager, it's going to show up in this list, so you can easily find the group, select it, and then copy and paste. So using the hashtag manager is completely optional. You don't have to use it right away. You can build your database slowly over time. And then I also added a couple other extra features that are also optional, but that I think are going to be super useful to make your content planning even more intentional. So the first one is your annual planner, and the purpose of this tab is to give you a space where you can set a foundation for what your month is going to look like. So what you're going to find here is 12 sections. Each month gets its own section and they all look the same. And what you're going to do here is at the beginning of every month, you're going to jump into this tab and you're going to set your top 3 goals for the month related to your content planning. And then you're going to add any important dates that are relevant to the content that you're going to be creating. So that could be holidays, that could be product launches, if you do challenges. So any date that's relevant to your business and that would have some sort of impact in your content plan, you can add that here. You can use this to-do list to keep track of monthly tasks. And I also added a section meant for important links. So if there's anything that you're going to be accessing frequently throughout the month, you can add those here. It could be a link to a Canva file. It could be a link to a Google Drive file. And then every time that you achieve a goal, you can use these checkboxes. So you can use the checkboxes to mark tasks as done. And whenever you add an important date, that day will be automatically highlighted in this mini calendar right here. So days that have an important date assigned will be highlighted in this blue color. And one of the coolest things about adding important dates is that you can display them along with your content plan in the calendar view. So I'm gonna select January, for example, and as you can see, there's certain days that are being highlighted in blue. These days are the ones that have important dates assigned to them. So your important dates, you can see over here, they're going to be shown with this little pin at the beginning, and they're going to be shown along with your content plan. And if you don't want to see them for some reason, you can always use the display settings to hide them. So right now I'm not showing any important dates. If I turn this on, my important dates are being shown along with my content plan. So again, completely optional, but I think it's super useful to have all of this information together in a single calendar. And finally, as the last feature, I also added an idea brain dump tab. So if you ever have an idea that you don't know where to put it yet, you just got inspired by something, you can save that idea in this tab. You'll also find the same 5 custom drop downs that you have on each of your monthly content planners. If you were inspired by a specific resource, you can add the link here. And then once you've already used an idea, you can check this box to keep track of that. So those are all the tabs and all the features that are included. And since there are so many of them and so many features, I also added a main menu to help you navigate the template. So what you're going to find here are quick links that are going to help you jump into every single one of your tabs. And if you ever need to go back to the main menu, you're going to notice that every tab has this main menu link in the top left corner. So you can always use it to go back to this main menu. And once you're done with your 12 months, all you have to do is jump into this section and use this link to create a new blank file, and then you can start again on a new set of 12 months. So that was a general overview of how the template looks like, what it does, all the features that are included. And if you would like to learn more about it, I also made a full tour video that you can find linked in the description. That video is a lot more detailed. So if you already have the template, it's a great idea to watch the full tour video and follow along while you're filling out your own version. And if you don't have the template, you can find the link to purchase it in the description. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I will be happy to answer them. You're going to find my email in the description down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.